sitting there talking to audio guys. I want my speaker there, and Larry's, I want my turtle twisting there, and I want my and it's all this stuff crammed into this little tiny space, and you haven't designed it yet. And we're standing there going, yeah, we're going to really fit all that stuff in that little spot. And you just kind of drive home. I don't know how we're going to do that.
And then you do it.
Yeah, you do. But like you'll see the next scene, in the next slide, you'll see the little machine for the, which you'll never see. This was taken from the catwalk.
On the bottom right.
So, moving along. This was one of our biggest challenges. And this is how we solved it. First, we took our CGI Ariel and we tried animating her hair in CGI, just to prove what we were after. What we did is we consulted with Ariel's original animator, Glenn Keane, and asked him how he had approached it. And he said that they approached the hair as a mass. You don't want a bunch of tendrils flying all over the place. Oh, she's singing. Okay, so that's how we approached it, and it took all 3 years to get this hair right, but I think we finally did a good job.
An interesting thing that Glenn Keane said is he was telling us when they were originally doing the research for the film many, many moons ago, they had, they went, I think it was to Imagineering, they had big tanks of water and they put actresses in the water and the animators are watching her, from windows down below, and she's swimming around and they're kind of making notes about how her hair moves. And he said, finally the one image, the one thing that made us go, we get it, that's how we animate hair underwater, was actually footage of Sally Ride in zero gravity in outer space. Because her hair does move, kind of slowly and reacts, so when she turns, it's just delayed a little bit. We thought that was really interesting, and I think it helped us when we were plugging away trying to do it three-dimensionally instead of as an animated piece.
She was the last character that came in the building. So we soft opened in May. I think she showed up in April. Just in time.
And of course, common building techniques now is to build the building first in a virtual world, which we did also.
Go back a second and show that the upper right is actually what Chris has been talking about. The upper right corner.
We'll go back.
Yeah, go back.
Again. There we go.
This is the building information model.
It's every piece that exists out there.
It's very helpful during construction.
And you all may recognize our good friend Triton there. He used to live at Disneyland. He was part of Ariel's grotto over there. And when that was changed out, we didn't want to lose him. So we found a new home for him on top of our building.
Yeah, that was a fun story. That we found out about this free thing. And
Free.
It was free. It's like, oh, look at this bronze sculpture, Triton. It's really cool. So I came to Larry. I go, Larry, we got this thing. So where do you want to put it? Thinking he's going to put it down somewhere low. It's really heavy. And he goes, hey, how about on the top of the building? And the architects and the engineers are going, are do you know how much that thing weighs? So what you're seeing there is actually not exactly a bronze statue.
Oh, you're giving our secrets away.
Well, it's not. I'm not saying what it is.
Okay.
It looks exactly like it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we made a mold of it.
And you can see the sisters' sculptures there as well. Those are Ariel's sisters on the front arch. We tried to treat everything in a classical manner, so those are her sisters keeping the musical theme going. And I'm sure you've all been in the park for the last 2 years. That construction fence, you've all been very patient. We were all so happy to see that construction fence come down, but there it is again. And construction 5 feet away from our guests walking by, that was an interesting thing happening.
Not to mention, we had this alleyway on the backside that we had to bring everything in unless early in the morning we moved the construction fence away so all the trucks could come in. So we had this really small window of time to bring everything in. It was a big challenge. The gentleman up on the right was our lighting designer, Michael Valentino.
We'll show you once more. There he is. Surveying his realm. Just a little more detail as it's approaching its finish. This production was truly an international production. We did more travel in the year 2010 to our various team members all around the country and around the world. The ride system was built in Osaka, so several trips there.
That was the ride engineer that was asking me about Ursula's tentacles.
All of our sets were built in Canada, so we had a lot of trips up to Calgary at the time. Lots of little pieces that all come together in the end.
You can see the picture of the model of the Kiss the Girl scene and then the real piece behind it. So we actually staged and attached all of the little foliage pieces up there. It made it a lot easier when we got to the field. Try and do as much stuff as you can before you get to the job site. It helps.
And the nice thing was when that piece in that you're seeing right there, that kind of curved moon shape, finally came in the building, because this was a scanned item and because it was all built in the computer, that thing went right in and fit right up to the radius that we had built for it, with just a minor little bit of tweaking. Oh, we like going to Vermont. Vermont's great. So some of our team members in Vermont, yeah, that's a long story.
Of course, the times that we had to go out and take trips to this vendor, it was like the worst storm in Eastern history or something. It was terrible. But we had one Imagineer I know actually slid off the road trying to get to the vendor, and he ended up in the gutter. But it was pretty harrowing getting to this place. And I know that the morning I left one of the trips, I actually got up at 5 in the morning because I had a noon flight, and, typically an hour and a half away, but it took me that long to get to the city that we were flying out of. But I had to follow the snowplow out, and it was just him and me at 5 in the morning, and I'm like, and then come to find, I get to the airport and find out that Larry gets snowed in, right?
Yeah.
So you were snowed in this
Yeah.
place that looked like the
Oh, it
hotel
was a
from The
nice place.
Shining. He was all by himself, and it's like, get out. It's all for Ariel, keep plugging away.
Notice that these lobsters do not have any eyeballs. One of our techniques is we bring them into the show so that we know exactly where they are looking to the guests. And so sometimes in these pictures you'll see these zombie lobsters which were creeping out some of our team members for a while.
Yeah, we had them in the building, for the longest time without eyes like that. And some of the construction workers and the guys are coming up.
We got enough complaints.
These guys look like zombies. What's this all about? I go, well, we changed the theme. Really? No, we're going to put people on later.
A lot of work out in San Bernardino also, closer to home, weekly trips out there. So here's some of our key characters being assembled. Lots of fish.
So in trivia, and I was expecting to read this. I've visited a lot of sites on the internet and have yet to hear anybody talk about some of the things that they may have seen in Tokyo Disney Sea that they're seeing in our attraction. And I'm disappointed at some of y'all. Honestly, so
Let's go back a slide.
go back a slide.
There we go.
Those fish down there? Hey now, see there?
Hey.
Good one. Right on.
Yay.
We were able to, I think the term is repurpose.
Recycle, reuse.
But the cool thing about that is, it's fun to actually take advantage of what we can, and it just helps our budget out.
Give it to me. I appreciate that too.
She appreciates it.
Yes. Some more of there's a lot of lips in this show, When I look at these pictures here, we got the Duke of Soul, our zombie Duke of Soul. Our harp with the harp there, and even Flotsam up there. So of course we also work at our WDI facility in North Hollywood. Our more complex figures were all assembled there.
Larry was talking earlier about how some scenes in the film last only for seconds. And if you look at Ariel, who's in Under the Sea, which is the far left photograph there, she literally appears for 2 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
And that's the only time you see her, but we thought that was a very important part of the scene where, you know, Sebastian's singing under the sea, you know, it's better to be down here, and we needed her in the scene to be dancing like she does in the film. So we spent, you know, if you look at her, out of the 4 years we worked on this project, you know, everything's working in parallel, but, you know, she was months and months and months of work for 2 seconds that, you know, were in the movie itself. But we felt that it was important to put it in.
Ariel looks a little bit starry-eyed right there. She's a little shocked. She just doesn't have her eyelids on yet. That's probably
I think she's cold.
Could be. I was so happy with the way that our bridal couple came out in our finale scene there. That's why those little pictures are down there. We had a wonderful costume designer working with us, and I think you may have, I don't know if you look at the blog at all, but they actually did an article at the time of Prince William's wedding, and they tried to link up the two things there. We had a royal wedding going too, and they showed off her dress, which was very pretty. You go by, you know, I'm not going to say you go by fast, but next time you go by, study her dress when you can, because there's this wonderful detail. You know, the movie, we always try to add to, we keep the spirit of it. But in the film, she didn't have quite as much filigree on her dress. But when you bring her into the real world, we want to give her something special there. So our designer did a really nice job of creating a pattern with seahorses and seashells and all kinds of stuff on the front bib of her dress.
Gorgeous.
We were hoping people would start asking for the pattern so that they could have their own Ariel wedding dress. Some more going on in North Hollywood. Our good friend Scuttle, King Triton came together. King Triton's a funny character. If you see him without his hair and his beard, he has a massive torso and hands that are, you know, just gigantic. And he's got a little bitty face. And I don't know how many times before we got him fully dressed in the attraction, people would walk by and go, "Is his head too small? Is his head too small?" You know, we had to keep reassuring them that we, you know, it's okay, it's fine. It's exactly the same in the movie. Look at him next time. You'll see this little bitty head, really big torso. So it was gratifying to see him come together at the end. And that was a nice little test on Ariel's mouth. Of course, she was sculpted with her mouth half closed, and we wanted to make sure that it, you know, opened and closed properly. The mural. This is a whole story in itself, the mural.
Let me also say, I'll jump in here,
Okay.
because I know you don't like to talk about yourself. But Larry, we had an 86-foot wall in the load unload area, as you know, and Larry needed to create something there in the tradition of the dark rides, you know, that you know and love over at Disneyland, and it's not unlike that, just in a very grand scale. So Larry painted, again, we're talking scale down, you know, it was 1 in 12?
Yeah, 1 in 12.
1 inch
Yeah,
to
1
a
inch to
foot.
a foot.
So he painted the original model, or the original piece that another artist was going to paint, you know, at full size. So he sat in his house, I think it was in the garage?
No.
Oh, was it in a
I had a
house?
studio, but it took up the whole studio.
86 inches this painting is. So you know, you think about that, that's very large just for a regular painting. And he painted every little bit of that. And one of his brushes had how many hairs on it?
1 hair. When you get down to Ariel's eyelashes at that scale.
1 hair he's dipping in paint to do each little eyelash, which I think is pretty, yeah.